It is time for us to go over our algorithm. So first thing first, we know that we need to be able to ask the user for an input, and there are two inputs. So first is the city and the second one is the category. So Craigslist city and the Craigslist category. We're going to ask that from the user. Then based on that, we're going to say if both of these inputs were valid, meaning that, the person did enter these in, then we're going to go ahead and download the specified Craigslist listing contents, or just all the listings, right, based on the city and the category. Once we have this, we're going to then say, okay, what do we need from this document? Because we're basically going to get a huge string, and that's going to be the document. Now, then we want to identify the listings. The listings are basically going to be HTML elements. And we're going to be talking about the HTML basics in a little bit, but just think of it as some type of pattern, right? It's a pattern that we're going to find, and then that pattern will be repeated, and those are going to be the listings, right? The listings are written in the same structure. They follow the same structure, and HTML is structured, though every HTML page is going to be different that we're downloading, which is why we need to find a pattern in this structure. But once we find the pattern, we are going to then be able to get the structure down. And so this is what it means, right? It says grab a specified HTML element based on regular expressions. So we're going to find a pattern based on the structure. Then we're going to grab all these HTML elements down based on the structure, based on this regular expression. Then once we grab all these elements, we're going to be looping through or iterating through these elements. And once for each element that we have matched, we're going to then say, okay, are there any specific things that we want to now grab from this HTML part, or this HTML element rather? So if there are no parts specified, and by this I mean, if we want to just grab the listings with all the information and we don't want to go even more granular, then this is what it's saying, right? But if we want to grab the listing and then from the listing we want to grab things such as description or links or the image URL and stuff like that, then we will need to specify more granularity, more specificity. And in this case, it says if there's nothing specified, then add matched HTML element to scraped item list, meaning that if there are no parts that we need to scrape from this element that has been matched here, then just use this element to add it to the matched list. And then we say otherwise, if there are specified parts that we need to grab from this HTML element, then we say for each HTML part in specified HTML parts, we go and we then say grab specified HTML part from the matched HTML element, which the HTML element is right here, based on regular expression. So essentially what we're doing is we're first grabbing the listings, then from the listings we're grabbing what we want, right? We can just say, hey, this is the entire listing, or we can say, hey, from the listing we only care about description and we only care about link. And in our case, that's exactly what it is. But what we're doing here is we're trying to make our application flexible so that if the business requirements change, then we can change it easily. So let's go ahead and say the next line. If match found, then add matched HTML part to scraped item list. Same thing. If there's a more granular match, then add that to the list. And if anything goes wrong, right, if the Craigslist city and the category are not entered or they're invalid, then we're going to show a warning. And if scrape item list is not empty, then display scraped HTML elements parts. Basically, just like in the example, we pass in the city and the category, and afterwards we show the things that we care about. In this case, based on the acceptance criteria, we care about the descriptions and the links, and otherwise show no matches. So that's it. This is our basic algorithm, and we're actually going to go ahead and look at the flowchart to kind of understand it even better, and then jump right into it to learn all the things we need to learn to be able to write this application, and then go ahead and write it.